Hey family, Tony Gaskins here. I wanted to spend some time with you today and talk about something that is very important to me. You know, a lot of you know my story, and you know that I wasn't able to get all of the degrees on the wall like everyone else. I wasn't able to get all the certifications and all of the trainings. And I've been meeting people. I've been bumping into a lot of people that are so talented. They have so much talent inside of them. They have a great mind on their shoulders. They have a vision. Some of them even have a plan. But one thing that I keep bumping into are individuals with low self-esteem. They don't feel qualified. I was teaching a class not long ago, and a young lady, she asked a question. She said, you know, how do I shift? You know, I'm a life coach, I'm a speaker, but how can I get paid to be a coach and a consultant? What certifies me? Like, what certification do I need? And how do I feel certified and qualified so that people will pay me? What makes me different? And I had to ask her, I say, you know, do you have the gift? Do you have the gift? Are you confident in your gift? And she said, yes, I've been doing it forever. I say, well, guess what? You were born qualified. So if you're able to get an education, yes, by all means, get it. Your high school diploma, your college, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, your PhD, whatever you can get it. But don't ever let your self-worth be stuck on a plaque on the wall. Don't ever feel like that you are only what man says you are. What man says you can only do this or be this or go so far because you've only finished this level of school. You have to realize that God created us to be millionaires, so to speak. And I don't necessarily mean in monetary value. I don't mean that your bank account has to have 6 zeros behind the 1. But what I mean is that we were born qualified. All of us have a skill set, a set of gifts that we can tap into and that we can make a living from. So when I looked at it, I started tapping into my own gifts. I started tapping into my own gifts, the things that came natural to me, the things that I was doing from a young age. I began to tap into them, and here I am, a young man under the age of 30, making 6 figures only from my gifts, which are all purpose-based. I was teaching my entrepreneur university, and I was counting all of the different avenues that I have income coming from, and I counted 17 streams of income, 17 streams of income. And I thought to myself, wow, who trained me? Who qualified me? Who certified me? Nobody but God. Every gift that I use, I was born with. My life shaped and shifted and cultivated this gift. Every gift that I use. So I want you to understand that. I want you to think about that. I want you to look at yourself. I want you to get a piece of paper, and I want you to take and write down all of your gifts. Write down all of your passions. See if some gifts connect to some passions. See if they connect. Because sometimes your passion may not be your gift, and sometimes your gift may not be your passion. But if you can connect the gift with a passion, guess what? You can turn that passion into profit. And don't just focus on the profit, because you can take and turn that profit into a purpose, so that everything you do can be purpose-driven, living a purpose-driven life. And that's what I want you to think about today. So if you weren't able to finish high school, if you weren't able to finish college, if you finished your bachelor's but you weren't able to get a master's, or you got your master's and you're not able to get a PhD, I want you to understand that if you can go no further, if you can do no more, if you don't want to spend another $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 in loans, in student loans, guess what? You can start where you are. Use what you have and start to change your life. After that call on Entrepreneur University, the young lady, she wrote me the next day. She's well educated, you know. She already has a bachelor's. She already has a master's. She's built a lot of business. She wrote me the next day and she said, you know what? That message last night, it changed my life. She said, I'm going to start to invest in myself. Instead of spending this next year focusing on a PhD and piling up this debt or spending that much money on that PhD, I'm going to start using what I have, because for what she wants to do, a PhD isn't qualified. I remember talking to somebody and said, well, why don't you go get, finish your bachelor's, get your master's, get your PhD. For why? Why? What is it going to do? When someone books me to speak, they don't say, do you have your PhD? No, they say, do you have a story, and can you tell your story and make a point and let that point change lives? They don't say, when I write my books, when someone gets ready to buy it, they read the sample. They don't say, do you have your PhD? No, they say, did this sample touch me? Did this sample change my life? So I want you to realize, I want you to look inside of yourself and realize that you were born qualified. I started to think, and I had this revelation because I was feeling insecure, because I didn't have all of the alphabets behind my name or before my name. And I was beginning to feel insecure because our society has taken and put so much weight on formal education that we have formal education, but no self-education. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against formal education. If you have the time, if you have the patience, and you have the money, get all the formal education you can get. But in the midst of it, get self-education. Jim Rohn said that formal education can make you a living. Self-education can make you a fortune. Guess what? It's a lot of educated people that come to me for a job, and I don't have their education, but one thing I do have is self-education. And what that means is I have knowledge of self. I know who I am. I know my gifts. I know what I'm worth. I know what I can deliver, and that's what makes all the difference. I remember hearing a story of the Ford Motor Company, and the guy who started, I believe it was Gerald Ford. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It could be another company. But the moral of the story was this gentleman had a second grade education. And they asked him, how did you build this company with a second grade education? See, guess what? He didn't have all the knowledge, but he had a knowledge of self, and he had wisdom. He said, you know what? When I need an engineer, I press this button. When I need a designer, I press this button. If I need a cup of coffee, I press this button. See, he was born with what he needed to succeed. So today I want you to understand this. I want you to look at the plaques on your wall, the certifications, the trainings, and I want you to realize that all that is a piece of paper if you don't know who you are. I want you to realize that all that is a piece of paper if you don't know who you are. If you don't have self-education, knowledge of self, then all that is a piece of paper. So when you look at your dreams, when you look at your passions, when you look at your goals, ask yourself, can I perform this task? Can I do this? If you can do it, then that's all that matters. So in every day that what I do in my life is something that just comes out of me. The people that know me growing up, I didn't say 10 words. They would never imagine that I would be standing in front of this camera doing what I'm doing today with the brand that God has blessed me to build and the following that I have, and being a professional speaker. They would never imagine in a million years. But God said, I gave you a gift. I gave you a call. I gave you a purpose. You've stepped into it. You've got aligned with your purpose. And now I'm going to give you what you need to do what you have to do. Because guess what, son? When I created you, I didn't create a textbook for you. I didn't create a university for you. See, I didn't even make a school. He said, I put everything in you that you needed to succeed, to fulfill what I put you here to do. You may not have all the knowledge and wisdom and understanding to fulfill what man wants you to do. See, but you have everything in you to do what I put you here to do. So I want you to understand that. Who are you working for? Are you working for man, or are you working for God? Are you working for profit, or are you working for purpose? Understand who you're working for, why you're doing it, and what does it really take to get there. So today, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am worthy. I am qualified. I am certified. I can do this. I want you to know that you were born qualified.